The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Good morning, afternoon, evening. My name is Ron Zucker. Welcome to the program for this 27th day of January 2026. A busy week here on Retro Sports Network. We will have 3 baseball games for you, all at noon Eastern, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's the Phillies and the Mets in a moment. And then tomorrow's or Wednesday's offering will be the Angels and the A's. I think I got to do that stadium too, as the A's are the surprise team so far in the first 10 days of this 1986 season. And then we conclude our baseball for the week with the Mets and the Cardinals from St. Louis. You get 2 Dwight Gooden starts this week for the price of 1. How about that? Plus, we'll have Mike in the truck on for a family football plus pre-play of that football game next weekend in Santa Clara between the Patriots and Seattle. And I will take advantage of the $4 Super Bowl preview on Action PC Football. And at some point, we'll do a Super Bowl pre-play using Action PC. So that's what's coming up. Today, it's a rainy day in New York for the Mets and the Phillies. What would be a Vin and Joe game, I am sure. Shane Raleigh going for the Phillies. The Mets have finally taken first place. It took, gosh darn, all of 7 days to do it. Dwight Gooden going for the Mets, Shane Raleigh for the Phillies. And remember, in real life, the Phillies finished in second place, 22 games out of first. But so these technically are, when all is said and done, the best 2 teams in the NL East going at it at Shea Stadium. So that's the setup for you. The Mets and the Phillies. The Mets hitting .349 as a team. Can Shane Raleigh calm them down? We're about to find out. As Retro Sports Network presents Major League Replay 1986. Today from Shea Stadium in Corona Park, New York, it's the New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation to replay needs. Find Dave and Joe and friends on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, wherever else fine podcasts are listed. Now, how about John Turnbull last night being on 700 WLW in Cincinnati? I got to listen to that, but that is so cool. Dwight Gooden making his 3rd start of the year. Last year's Cy Award winner, 84 Rookie of the Year, is still only 21 years old. Fastball at 94, a standard pitcher. He has faced, well, he's 2-0. So he's faced the Pirates on the road in St. Louis, I imagine here at home 5 days ago, the 14th. So on full rest, in a 4-1 win over the Cardinals, 9 innings, 135 pitches, 7 hits, a run it was earned. He walked 4 and struck out 6. Overall, as we say hello to Steve and Mr. Reynolds, 16 innings for the good doctor, 12 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 2 homers. He has walked 7 and struck out 3, and his record 2-0 with a 2.25 ERA. This would be the year I think Gooden would feel all the pressure of what was expected. The Mets having a very good year in 85, but this was the year they were supposed to take it all apart. And I think it got to the kid for sure. The lineup he will face, although he did have a good 86. Gary Reedus leads off and left for the Phils. Milt Thompson in center will bat second. Vaughn Hayes at first goes third. Mike Schmidt cleans up at third. Glenn Wilson in right will bat fifth. Darren Dalton behind the plate will go sixth. Aguayo at second, batting seventh. Steve Jeltz at short goes eighth, and Shane Raleigh on the mound for the Phillies will go ninth. Gooden can go as long as Davey Johnson wants him to. Defensively for New York, would you believe? Look who's in left field. It's Gary Carter. I think they were trying to spare him from having to catch every day. He's in left field. He's a 2 and a 5. That's what you get for as played. If John midlife crisis shows up. He'll be drooling with this lineup. Kevin Mitchell's in center. He's a 3 and a 6. So no Dykstra, no Wilson, no George Foster. Darryl Strawberry, a 5 and a 9 in right. And Darryl's got a book coming out in August, by the way. Co-written by a friend of mine, Jerome Preisler. Ray Knight, a 4 at third. Psst, 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 psst. Okay, enough of that. Rafael Santana, a 6 and a 6 at short. Timmy Tuffle, a 5 and a 4 at second, so no backman either. Keith Hernandez is a 10 at first. How you doing, Paul? And Greg. Paul still shoveling out. Barry Lyons, a 2 and a 1 behind the plate. That's not good. And Gooden, an 8 on the mound with a 973 fielding percentage. So how we all doing? Hopefully we're all shoveling it out. It is still cold here. I think we have... Alexa, what's the temperature?
It's 12 degrees right now with a high of 16 and a low of 5.
Thank you.
There's a 70% chance of snow this afternoon, with accumulations up to an inch.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Ron.
On top of the 15 that we've had since Sunday. I mean, it has snowed and snowed and snowed. Reedus, as he steps in, 259 with 2 RBI. And that is a fly ball left field. Carter being tested immediately, and Gary makes the catch, 1 out. A light rain here in New York, 62 degrees. It's Saturday, April 19th, 1986, with calm winds. Milt Thompson at 167, a home run and 5 RBI. In the metropolitan Toronto area, they've had 6 feet over the last week and a half. We haven't had that much. Now, Ontario, that doesn't freeze over, does it? Pitch to Thompson is a fly ball shallow right. Strawberry rides the Schwinn, makes the catch, 2 out. Jeremiah was a bullfrag. Read my article. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I did write one for Jamie. It was on his 86 replay, as a matter of fact. The most snow in 1 week in the GTA since 1965. That's a long time ago. Vaughn Hayes is hitting 500. 2 homers and 11 RBI. Jeff Ray quoted me in an article. You know how weird it is to be sitting there, because I didn't expect it, sitting there reading his article he wrote for Jamie and see my name pop up. Hayes, ground ball to Hernandez. He'll take it to the bag, and that will do. Phillies go in order. Half an inning in the books, no score. Yeah, it is cold, Steve. I've got the blanket on. It's 66 here in the bedroom, or the studio. It doesn't usually, in this part of the world, get super cold and then snow, but that's what we've had this week. We fully have had a winter. Shane Raleigh, by the way, making his 3rd start of the replay. He's 30 years old, fastball at 84 and a fly ball pitcher. 86 has not been all that kind to Shane so far. You'll see why in a second. He faced these Mets 6 days ago in Philadelphia, and in a 16-15 win. Wow. He started the game and went inning in the 3rd and promptly got Christmas treed. 32 pitches, 7 hits, 6 runs, all earned. He didn't give up any homers, and he struck out 2. So in 2 starts, 7 1/3 for Shane, 14 hits, 12 runs, all earned. 3 home runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, and a 14.73 ERA. How you doing, Andy? Do I remember Scott Russell? He was the Montreal guy on Hockey Night in Canada. Here's the Mets lineup, right? Kevin Mitchell leads off in center field. Timmy Tuffle does not look like the A lineup for the Mets. Timmy Tuffle at second will bat second. Keith Hernandez at first will go third. Gary Carter, the promising left fielder, will clean up. Darryl Strawberry in right will bat fifth. Ray Knight at third will bat sixth. Barry Lyons, making his first of 6 appearances, will bat seventh. How bad is that? Behind the plate, Rafael Santana at short bats eighth. Dwight Gooden, not a good hitter. He'll bat ninth on the mound. And Shane Rawley, if all can go well, he can go the distance. Whether he will or not is another story. Defensively for the Phillies, Mike Schmidt a 10 at third. Steve Jiltz, 6 and a 7 at short. Louis Aguayo, a 4 and a 5 at second. Vaughn Hayes, a 6 at first. Gary Reedus, a 6 and a 6 in left. Milt Thompson is a 6 and a 3 in center. Glenn Wilson, a 7 and a 9 in right. Darren Daulton, again, only 24. Not his rookie year, I was told. 5 and a 3 behind the plate. And Raleigh, a 7 on the mound with an 889 fielding percentage. Yep, the longtime CBC sportscaster. Steve and Shane Raleigh on your early rotisserie team back when you were doing stats. Yep. What was it, the Thursdays USA Today? We did it by leagues. I remember when. Kevin Mitchell, happy 1986. His first at-bat of the year. He hit .277 for the Mets, 12 homers and 43 RBI. Yep, Paul, I remember Baseball Weekly. And that 5-point print. Pitch to Mitchell is a pop-up left side. Jeltz goes out. Reedus comes in. Gary makes the catch. 1 out. Timmy Tuffle at .263. No homers, 2 doubles, and 5 RBI. Several years ago, he wanted to write a book on curling. So you invite him to your curling club. He thanked me and would mention me in his book. Oh, that's nice. All the big tournaments going on now because of the Olympics. So the Tournament of Hearts was early, right? Everything's early. How close did you get to the Briar? The USA Today ground scores or box scores were groundbreaking. My grandfather, I've mentioned him before, they would buy USA Today every day, and when they would come visit on Saturday for coffee and donuts, would bring me all 5 of the sports sections. And this is what they got for it. Pitch to Tuffle. There's a ground ball to third. Schmidt across the way to Hayes for the out, 2 away. Keith Hernandez at .273, a home run and 3 RBI. We went from having 3 minutes a night on most TV stations, so you could watch stuff that was a day old, to 40 years later, being able to watch pretty much instantaneous highlights on YouTube of whatever it is you want to watch. Hernandez hits a ground ball to third. Schmidt on a hard hop. Can't make a play, and Hernandez is going to reach on an error. So for Schmidt, that's his second error of the season. The Phillies are 4-3. This is Game 8. The Mets are 5-1. This is Game 7. Gary Carter at .280. 2 homers and 4 RBI. Gary hits a hard ground ball to Jeltz, throws to first, and Gary is retired, and that will do. Mets cannot take advantage of the error. No runs, no hits. After 1, no score. Sports phone, 1-800-976-1313. And if you're a Met fan, one of the voices of Sports Phone in the metropolitan New York area was one Howie Rose. Mike Schmidt, Glenn Wilson, and Darren Daulton have faced Gooden here in the second. Schmidt at .357. He's hit 3 or 9, depending on where you were. I suppose it was 901 at 1-900-973 or 976, whatever. I forgot what it was. You already got me to sing once today. Schmidt has 3 homers and 7 RBI. Gooden takes a deep breath and deals. That is a high fly ball to left. Carter goes back. Gary makes the catch. Gary's not used to moving around so much in the field. 1 out for Wilson. Glenn at .258, a double and 3 RBI. Not Warner Wolf? Well, he's still going to the videotape. Imagine freaking people out. But let's go to the internet stream. Wilson swings, ground ball to Santana, over to Hernandez, and Wilson is retired. That was a good way for those up-and-coming young reporters to get some practice in, because you do it, once an hour, once every half hour? Aaron Dalton is also hitting .357. He's hit 2 homers in 14 at-bats and driven in 4. And they were like 50 cents a call. Yeah, they weren't free. Dalton draws the walk. So first walk for Gooden. Here's Aguayo at .364, 2 homers, and 4 RBI. Yep, Steve used to call sports phone was a 50-cent charge. Your mom got mad at your brother thinking it was him for all the collect calls. How you doing, Barb? Barb has had a lot of snow, too. That's a throw down to second, and Dalton is thrown out trying to steal. Okay. So the Phillies get that gift walk and then is thrown out trying to steal after an inning and a half, no score. So Strawberry, Knight, and Lyons. And for poor Barb, it's, again, not the Mets lineup. Strawberry leads the National League in homers. He's hitting .370, 4 homers, and 11 RBI. Dave Little's in Wisconsin, where the popsicles have kind of made themselves. Strawberry rips this one over Hayes into right field, and Wilson will throw it back in. For Ray Knight. Sorry. Sometimes the Red Sox fan comes out in me. Hitting .643. No homers, 2 doubles, a triple, and an RBI. Strawberry on first. Yeah, -17. We had a wind chill Saturday of -25. It was actually colder on Sunday, air temperature-wise, but it wasn't as windy. And we ended up with... It was still snowing when my wife came home from work last night. We got 15 inches out of the deal. That is a lot. A foot, it's a big difference between a foot and 15 inches. Throw to first, Strawberry. Got picked off. How about that? Raleigh caught him leaning the wrong way, and Darryl goes back to the dugout. Yeah, now Paul, up in Saranac Lake, home of Hot Sarah, was anything but. -40 wind chill on Saturday. And the one thing about -40, but it's a dry cold. Apparently Todd's been drinking the Utica Club again. Is that -40 Celsius is the same as -40 Fahrenheit. Knight hasn't taken a pitch yet. Dave Little has been infected by baseball demos and Todd B. Dave says, Dr. Little, by the way, says, I heard the guy who created the heat index passed away recently. He was 82, but he felt like he was 95. We'll be here all the week. Please try the veal. Yeah, Andy, it was about a foot when I woke, about 8 inches when I got up, and it was snowing, and it just kept snowing, and my mom got 20. Anyway, Knight pops it up, left side, Jelt's on the grass, Steve will make the grab, 2 out. Now, just know that Vin Scully would never, make hissing noises at any players, no matter how much money D. Scott Howard throws him to do it for the Giants. Barry didn't play an awful lot. This might be his only start. Was Mackie Sasser their backup, Barb? He went 0 for 9 in 86. Hard ground ball to Aguayo, over to Hayes, and Lyons is retired, and that will do. Mets get a hit, and then Darryl Strawberry is picked off at first. After 2, no score. Yeah, lots of delays this morning. I mean, I don't think a school was open in the entire state of Vermont yesterday. Colleges were shut, maybe UVM. The state college system or state university system was shut down. Nothing was going. A lot of 2-hour delays this morning. Burlington schools, I believe, opened on time. But a ton of delays. Aguayo, by the way, or Guayo, 364, 2 homers, and 4 RBI. Jeltz and Raleigh to follow. Todd called the Psychic Network once. They asked who's calling. Really? They should have already known. And Mr. Gorky up in the top deck, where it's always windy, joining the game with the great Chico Escuela. Baseball had been very, very good to him. Pitch to Louie. Struck him out first for Gooden. A 1-2 fastball at 96, 1 out. Now, Gooden, again, he didn't repeat his 85, but he was still very good. A 2.84 ERA, 17-6, but only 200 strikeouts and 250 innings. Jeltz at 0.87 and a triple. That's a bounder to Santana. Raphael is just going to eat it. I don't know if it just took a funny hop on the grass or what, but Jeltz pretty much steals first. Here's Raleigh. Shane 0 for 1. A 173 hitter at 86. Hernandez and Knight play for the bunt. Oh, absolutely. Gooden was Hall of Fame bound. Absolutely. Raleigh puts it down. Lyons has it, throws to Tuffle, and there's the sacrifice. That's the first time I've seen the game sacrificed with 1 out. So 2 out. Jeltz on second for Reedus. Opening 9 for Gooden. 34 pitches. Hitting into 2 2/3. A hit, a walk, and a strikeout. Reedus is 0 for 1. I should do an article on Mickey Mantle doing that, because if you were, we talked about this the other day, I mean, someone who is of mythic stature and Hall of Fame numbers, you wouldn't think got shortchanged. Reedus in the left field. Back goes Carter. Gary turns and watches it go. So Gary hits one past Gary in the left field, and it's 2-0 Phillies. Caught too much of the plate with that. And that is into the Mets bullpen. Aaron rooting for the Mets. Miss Cleo helped you with your sports bets? Is that what you told the bankruptcy judge there, Steve? Here's Bill Thompson. He's 0 for 1. Kiss it goodbye. Thompson rips this one to third. Knight can't make a play. Can we trade that error for October? So both teams have an error. And the Speedy Thompson on first for Vaughn Hayes, who's 0 for 1. So Gooden not helped out by his defense. Throws to first, and Thompson is back. Now do we pitch out here? We'll pitch out. Thompson goes to throw down to Santana, and Thompson has his 3rd steal of the year. So runner on second, 2 out, 2-0 Philadelphia. Again, the Phillies finished in second place at 86. A 1-ball count to Vaughn Hayes. Popped up center field. Mitchell will make the grab, and that will do. However, the 2-run homer from Gary Reedus, 2 hits in the air. And after 2.5 here at Shea, it's the Phillies 2, the Mets nothing. So Santana, Gooden, and Mitchell to face Raleigh here in the 3rd. Raphael at 286, 6 for 21. Aaron, do you get baseball on the satellite? You watch on the internet? Santana rips this one to second. Aguayo behind the bag over to Hayes, 1 out. For Dwight Gooden, 0 for 5 and 86. Scott Johnson, how are you? As we said, Gooden not much of a hitter. He went 7 for 81, but he did have a triple. and 4 RBI. That is over Hayes into right field for a base hit. So the second hit for the Mets. And Gooden is going to stay glued to first base. How you doing, Mr. Mike? Kevin Mitchell is 0 for 1. Raleigh, 32 pitches, opening 9, 2 and a third, and just 2 hits. Rainy day in New York, light rain in Queens, 65 degrees, calm winds. Glad to be anywhere. Hopefully you're okay. We are digging out from 15 inches. I would say that was not a top 20 storm here. Probably now the top 50. Struck him out first for Raleigh in 0-2. He looked at it. Here's Timmy Tuffle. Tuffle playing second today with the lefty Raleigh on the mound. Tim is 0 for 1. That's a ground ball up the middle. Jeltz goes to second for the Fours, and that will do. So the Mets get a hit. They've left on 2 so far. After 3 in New York, it's the Phillies 2, the Mets nothing. So Schmidt, Wilson, and Dalton to face Gooden here in the 4th. Mike is 0 for 1. So noontime tomorrow, noontime Thursday, you get the surprising Oakland A's hosting the California Angels tomorrow, which means they got to do another stadium. And then on Thursday, it'll be the Cardinals hosting these Mets with Dwight Gooden going. Schmidt 0 for 1. That's into center. Mitchell, that's well hit and gone. Schmidt puts that one off the batter's eye out there in center field, and it's a 3-0 Philly lead. Barb is emailing Dave Cook as we speak, asking to ban me managing the Mets. You might see George Hendrick, yep. Wally Joyner and his tub of Rogaine. So for Schmidt, that's his 4th home run of the year. He is now tied with Strawberry for the league lead. Glenn Wilson's 0 for 1. So Gooden only gave up 17 in real life, has given up 4 in 19 innings. There's a fly ball to right. Strawberry down in the corner and can't get there. Someone from Uniondale made that catch. You are emailing me tips on managing. I'm sure we've had George Hendrick on the channel before. But remember, in 82, the Cardinals didn't make the playoffs. It was the Expos. Wilson strikes out. That's 2 for Gooden. For Darren Dalton, who must have walked his first time up. There's a slow chopper to the mound. Gooden over to Hernandez, and Dalton is retired. So, there's 2 out for Aguayo, who struck out his first time up. 86 Mets were amazing. Careful, Aaron. I can ban you. They were a good club. That's the 3rd strikeout, and Gooden's through the inning. Curveball just below the belt, and Gooden goes back to the mound. However, he's shaking his head. Another home run, this time for Mike Schmidt. No shame in that. After 3.5 here at Shea, Phillies 3, Mets nothing. I'm sure Hendrick's tearing it up on your 82 replay. He was a good player. The Revenge of George Hendrick is indeed, Tim, a great band name. How you doing, Scotty? So here are the standings. The Giants, a half-game lead over the Dodgers, a game ahead of San Diego. Houston, a game and a half back, which just says it's early. Cincinnati and Atlanta. So everyone's within 3. In the East, the Mets have finally tied the Expos with Philadelphia, a game and a half back, St. Louis, Chicago, and Pittsburgh. The reason why you're getting Oakland and California tomorrow, well, look at that. They're combined 17-4. The A's are a game and a half up. Texas is 3.5 up or behind, and then forget it. And in the American League East, the Yankees a game and a half up on Detroit. 2 up on Cleveland, 2.5 on Baltimore and Toronto, and it's Patriots season in Boston. Von Hayes came into this one hitting .500, which is pretty good. Keith Hernandez is 0 for 1. George would play air guitar, less work. Mm-hmm. Well, could California have won that World Series? I think the answer to that would have been, on paper, the Mets are the best team. There's a high ground ball to second over to first, and Hernandez is retired, 1 out. I think the Angels beat themselves in the Red Sox series. Gary Carter 0 for 1. However, considering that Houston gave the Mets absolute fits, I suppose it's possible. Carter swings, ground ball to short, jolts over to Hayes, and Gary's retired. But as Paul says, and this is absolutely true, if you're good enough to get to the World Series, you're good enough to win, which is absolutely right. Someone was trying to make a case the other day on social media, and who doesn't love a good argument on social media, that Yogi Berra was a bad manager. Darryl Strawberry, by the way, singled his first time up. Yogi was the bench coach in Houston in '86. He got the Yankees to the World Series in '64. Now, granted, they had been in the last 4 before that, but his '87 win Mets took the A's to game set. Not only came back in September to get to the playoffs in '73, but they took the Oakland A's and Reggie Jackson to 7 games in the World Series. Pitch to Strawberry. There's a fly ball to right. Wilson down in the corner. That ball is well hit. It is hooking and caught. No runs, no hits. It's an out after 4. Phillies 3, Mets nothing. Yogi made a lot of boo-boos. Does Todd and Tim and Demos do courses that I'm not aware of? Jeltz, Raleigh, and Reedus to face Gooden here in the 5th. Steve singled his first time up. He's smarter than now, I read that as he's smarter than the average beer. It's beer. I'm smarter than the average bear. Pitch to Jeltz. Struck him out, 4 for Gooden. 2-2, change up. Got him, 1 out for Raleigh, who's 0 for 1. What? No? It is high. It is far. It is a pop out to second. There's your John Sterling call. Who he stole from Jim Backus. Pitch to Raleigh. There's a ground ball to third. Knight has it. Ray throws to first for the out. 2 away for Gary Reedus. 18 batters deep for Gooden. 68 pitches, 4 2/3. 3 runs, all earned. 3 hits, the 2 homers. Schmidt, the solo shot. Reedus, who homered in the 3rd, a 2-run jobby. He has walked 1 and struck out 4. I do throw in the occasional, that's baseball, Susan. Barb, what's your Mets record, by the way? Pitch to Reedus. Gary draws the walk. This does not look like it's going to be a Barb special where I won't go to the pen. Gooden already on 74 pitches through 4 2/3. Milt Thompson is 0 for 2. How you doing, Curtis? Good one, Mr. Mike. This game is broadcast on the Entertainment Sports Pun Network. ESPN. Pitch to Thompson, and Reedus steals second. Not even a throw from Barry Lyons, who will not, no relation to Jeffrey, the movie critic. So the thing with Gooden, was that his leg kick was so high, his delivery time to the plate was slow. And so you could steal bases quite easily on him. And when you have a one-arm catcher, and this isn't Strat, in Lions, I'm surprised the Phillies haven't run more. A one-strike count. Aaron Judge is on the cover of the show. You have a game set for this afternoon. Oh, yeah, 113. 113 and 29. That's pretty good. And that's amazing because Barb doesn't usually use the pen, if at all. And the Mets' pen is one of the reasons why they were so good. Luzinski hit 40 homers against Canadian teams during his career, a 370 that he hit, 31 against Montreal, and 9 against the Jays. And this Canadian fact is brought to you by Labatt 50. Pitch to Thompson is a high fly ball, right center. Back goes Mitchell. Kevin is there, makes the catch, and we're halfway home. It is chilly today in Burlington and snowy. Halfway through, Phillies 3, Mets nothing. If you joined us late, here's how we got here. 3 runs, 3 hits, an error for the Phillies. No runs, 2 hits, an error for the Mets. Gary Reedus, a 2-run homer in the third to make it 2-0. And in the fourth, Mike Schmidt bombed one in the bullpen and left to make it 3-0. Shane Raleigh, looking for a good start after 2 clunkers, has done just that. 4 innings, 2 hits, and a strikeout. Dwight Gooden, 5 innings, 3 hits, all 3 runs are earned. The 2 homers, as we mentioned. He's walked 2 and struck out 4. +4 hole. That's not too bad. Yeah, Juan Marichal for Gooden in 86. Juan Marichal did have a very high leg kick. The Rockettes studied him, right? Todd B pulls his pitcher so he can sing, "Who Can Hit a Righty?" You were in Burlington Labor Day, 85 Reds versus the Albany Colony Yankees for a baseball playoff game. It's a shame that this market is too small for the Eastern League because between Albany, Burlington, Glens Falls, and Manchester, some good markets there and some good players. Ray Knight is 0 for 1. He draws the walk. I was not in Burlington Labor Day 85. Barry Lyons is 0 for 1. There's a high ground ball to first. Hayes to Jeltz for 1, and Lyons is going to reach. So Barry's going to hold a press conference because this will be the only time in the replay he reaches base. Here's Rafael Santana. He's 0 for 1. There are some great players there. Yeah, how Albany's connected to Troy and, in essence, Saratoga with a population of 750,000 loses a minor league club. I mean, they have now they in the Futures League, right? They built them that beautiful park in Colony, which has now been torn down. I mean, Bleecker in Albany was horrible, absolutely horrible. But they built them the nice park in Colony, and they didn't even play there when they came back. They played their games outside of Troy. Pitch to Santana, fly ball left center. Thompson going back. Milt will make the catch. Lyons continues to hold his press conference at first, 2 out. For Gooden, who singled his first time up. The first Bleecker was horrible. Todd actually sings that, and you get a strange look from your wife. I wonder why. Yeah, Major League Baseball did that area wrong. The county and the city couldn't agree on required park. It was Legends Field, wasn't it? I mean, Bleecker was horrible. Absolutely horrible. Scott has played the first 8 games of a 61 Yankee replay with Appa Basic. Yankees are 7-1. Maris 3 homers. Mantle 2. Cool. Oh, Steve, you're from Albany. Bleecker Stadium is your high school home park. I'm not even sure by the 80s it was a good high school park. And the rain delay is hit. Heritage. That's, yeah. Out in Colony by the airport. So, 52 minutes in. And that'll be it for Raleigh. Don Carmen will come in to pitch, and we're going to pinch hit for the pinch hitter. Cape Cod League is fun, and that's pretty much what we do up here now. It's Collegiate Futures. Wood Bat League. It's great. So let's pinch hit for Dwight Gooden. The rain delay kind of killed that. We're going to go with George Foster. And do a double switch. Foster, as a pinch hitter, hasn't had a pinch hit appearance, hitting .391 overall with 3 homers and 6 RBI. Good friend of my dad's went to the pharmacology school in Albany. Paul? You know, I hate rain delays in games because I picked this game for Gooden, and you lose them early. Carmen has some hungry eyes. 26 years old, fastball at 90, a fly ball pitcher. Has only faced the Mets. So 3 appearances. His last one in that 16-15 pinball fest down at the Vet. 2/3 of an inning, 23 pitches. So he's on 6 days rest. 3 runs, all earned, 2 homers. Barb's eyes are lighting up with that. And a walk. Overall for Carmen, 5 1/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 homers. That came in that game 6 days ago. He has walked 2 and struck out 7 when he faced the Mets on the 12th. So last Saturday, he went 4 innings and struck out 6. So Foster at the plate, 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. Lyons on first, and Foster draws the walk. So Lyons holds another press conference because it would be the only time he sees second base. Kevin Mitchell is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Jack Kent could try to get the MLB in Toronto in the 60s, but when he got turned down, he sold the Leafs in '66 and bought the Lakers, Redskins, and LA Kings. I think he got the better end of that. Collegiate summer leagues are fun, Imaging Sport. You did some PA work for the Valley Leagues in the early 2000s. If only Don Carmen had played in Eric Carmen's place of birth or played in Detroit when he would be a true Carmen. All by himself. Tribe fan is all by himself anymore. Pitch to Mitchell. There's a base hit left center. Reedus will grab it on a hop. Lyons around third. He will try and score. The throw goes into Schmidt, and it's a 3-1 ball game. Is Cook Canadian? We've had this conversation. Carmen might lose control. Yep. Scott's also doing 2003 Reds with season ticket. Don't know why. Just wanted to play an absolute first game of the season that year, and he just kept on going. That's cool. So here's Timmy Tuffle. Timmy's 0 for 2. And he draws the walk. Okay. So how did he get his money? Keith Hernandez is 0 for 2. Foster on third. Mitchell on second. Tuffle on first. I didn't have Barry Lyons scoring on my bingo card either. Hernandez gets hit. Foster will score. Hernandez got hit in the leg, and that 3-run lead is now a 1-run lead. Here's Gary Carter. Dave Little is partial to Carmen, Ohio. You have 77, Enzo S. Can player photos be installed all at once? Someone want to help him out with that? They go into the player photos folder in your DK Sports data folder with baseball. Carter draws the walk. The 03 Reds not that good. They were 69 and 93. Yep, and Gus puts the proper link where they should go. Paul does. So just look at that. Darryl Strawberry 1 for 2. So a 3-3 tie. Tuffle on third. Hernandez on second. Carter on first. Ball 4. Ball 8. Yep. Carmen deals. He strikes out Strawberry, and that'll do. However, the Mets get a 52-minute rain delay, 3 runs, a hit, no errors. A Saturday afternoon where bowling for dollars and in search of will be late on most of these NBC stations as we're through 5 in a 3-3 tie. All right. Who we going with? Can't go with Aguilera. I have John Mitchell available. Why not? He will bat in the 7 hole. Carter will catch. So a whole bunch of changes. So Foster, the new left fielder, he's a 7 and a 3. Carter an 8 and a 4 behind the plate. And the kid, I saw John Mitchell pitch in '87, as a matter of fact, against the Cardinals. Mitchell making his second appearance. Faced the Phillies a week ago today down in Philadelphia. 2 innings and a 7-2 win, 39 pitches. 2 hits, a solo homer, a walk and a strikeout. Fastball at 86. And a standard pitcher, and he will bat second in the 6th. But I'll give him a couple innings. What is our date in '86? It is Saturday, April 19th. Tribe fans done the 67 Mets, who weren't terrible, and the 2016 Twins. It was Mr. Mike that asked that. World Series are fun to replay. Fawn Hayes is 0 for 2. There's a high fly ball to right. Mitchell is in the alley, and Kevin will make the catch. We're running a little late, too. Mike Schmidt, 1 for 2. He homered in the 4th, his 4th of the year. And Schmidt draws the walk. I think 87 would have been his first card. Todd, unless he was in the 86 treaty. He only pitched 10 innings, and I didn't remember him pitching for the Mets in '86. Glenn Wilson 0 for 2 in the strikeout. Curtis managed Pittsburgh 8-2 to a 5-4 win over the Phillies in your 78 replay after the Candelaria fell behind 4-0 in the first. Now, what are you doing in Action PC, manual entry? How you doing that? Pitch to Wilson. Got away from Carter on the wild pitch, and Schmidt walks up to second. So it is threatening skies. The lights are on here at Shea. 65 degrees. 1-2 from Mitchell. Base hit, right center, all the way to the wall. Schmidt will score. Wilson's on second with a double, and all the work the Mets did in the 5th has gone undone. It's 4-3 Philadelphia. And Barb's going, that's why you never pull your starter. Darren Dalton 0 for 1 with a walk. Action PC as played. Is this really your was that really your birthday? April 19th? That's cool. Pitch from Mitchell to Dalton. Fly ball to right. Strawberry going back to the wall. And Darrell will make the grab. Wilson's going to hold. 2 out for Aguayo, who was struck out twice. That is cool. I'm not sure we've ever done that before. Of course, my birthday's in November. I can't imagine you spent your 22nd birthday with the Phillies and the Mets. Fly ball, center field. Back goes Mitchell, and Kevin will make the catch. Phillies get a run on a hit. We go to the bottom of the 6th. They lead it 4-3. That is cool. I was 14 when this game was played. Ray Knight, 0 for 1 with a walk. Mitchell will bat because they don't want to burn Orozco or McDowell too early, and then Santana. Paul's is this month. There's a ground ball up the middle for a base hit. So Knight is on with a single, just the 4th hit. Mitchell is going to bunt. And this should be, well, I know I have batters. I suppose I could go with that. I'll look. So Mitchell's going to be done. It is who can hit a lefty? The answer is nobody. So Mitchell's going to bunt. There really is no one on the bench that can hit a left-handed pitcher. And he fouls it off. And it's a 2-strike count. You were doing pediatrics. Is that what you ended up doing? Greg's is in mid-August. That is cool. Mitchell squares, drops it down, foul, and strikes out. That'll bring up Santana, who's 0 for 2. Fly ball, center field. Back goes Thompson. And Milt will make the catch, 2 out. Knight back to first. So, Curtis, when we did 78 all those years ago, 6 years ago, wow. The Rangers surprised. The Rangers went to the My World Series. George Foster walked his first time up. He pinch hit for Gooden after the rain delay. And then did the double switch to play left field with Carter. Fly ball right field. Wilson going back in the alley, makes the catch, and we're through 6. No runs, a hit. Mets have left on 6. After 6-4-3 Philadelphia. So Jeltz, Carmen's spot, and Reedus to face Mitchell here in the 7th. Steve 1 for 2 with a strikeout. Jeremiah was in the KISS Army. You did family medicine. Oh, so required rotation. Yep. Thank you, Brent. We're almost at 2,100. We've picked right up. Jeltz draws the walk. So let's see what the Phillies do with Carmen. I'd imagine they'd pinch hit for him at this point. They do not. He drops one down. I don't play for it. Hernandez throws the tuffle for the out, and Jeltz moves on to second. So the Phillies are going to leave Carmen in, obviously. Here's Gary Reedus, 1 for 2. The 2-run homer came in the 3rd. And he's now driven in 4 on the year. You quit because you went disco. I love the nightlife. I love the boogie. Kansas City off to a slow start. Minnesota's 10-4, but they played the Mariners 18,000 times to start the year. I'm doing in roster card. I picked 10 teams from 78. Pitch to Reedus. Got away from Carter, but Jeltz couldn't go anywhere. And the Rangers have played 9 games against all. It's all for real life playoff. Anyone that finished within 5 in San Francisco, so I picked. And the Rangers are 7-2. Fly ball left field. Foster going back. George will make the catch on the turf. Jelt's on his way to third. Foster actually ended up crashing the wall for that. So 2 out, runners in the corners for Milt Thompson, who was 0 for 3. Scotty was deep in his deadhead days in 86. Hard at work as a bartender. Hey, you leave Leo Sayre alone. Yeah, little is not little when it comes to the puns. Pitch to Thompson. There's a ground ball back to Mitchell. Over to Hernandez. And we're stretch time. 4-3 Phils. No runs, no hits, no errors for the Phillies in the 7th. They've left on 4. 4-3 the score. 4 hits for both sides and an error for both sides. Kevin Mitchell, 1 for 3, a single, an RBI, and a strikeout. And Little, guess night fever knocked him out. It is a nice touch, the 7th inning stretch, and we post the only real ad in the game, which is never required to give me money, but it's there if you'd like. Tim was 6 in September 85. I'm glad I'm not the youngest one here. Pitch to Mitchell, who's 1 for 3. There's a base hit left field. Reedus will grab it on a hop. 5th hit for the Mets. Here's Tuffle. With a lefty, he stays in the game. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. There's a fly ball left center field. Back goes Thompson. And Mitchell goes back. Tim had a great time telling his kindergarten or first grade teacher that Don Denkinger was an idiot that October. Keith Hernandez has been hit by a pitch, driven in a run. He now is 4 and is 0 for 2. Isn't April? No, it would be that Monday, so it would be the 21st. Or the 14th. It's that whatever weekend, that Monday in Massachusetts. And that's when the Red Sox play a home game at 11 a.m. Greg was at the CBC in 86. Up the middle, past Aguayo, and Mitchell is on his way to third. Gonna run on Thompson's arm. The throw to Schmidt is not in time, and the Mets have runners in the corners, 1 out for Gary Carter. Carter 0 for 2. He started this game in left field, and after the rain delay, moved in behind the plate. Barry Lyons is still talking to the press in the dugout. Gary has walked and driven in his 5th run. Dalton and Carmen have a word. Mitchell on third, Hernandez on first. Carter swings left field. Reedus, that's hooking foul. Gary in the stands and can't get it. Somebody from Scarsdale made the catch, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. Oh, it's the actual anniversary of Lexington. Yeah, the actual day. April 20th is the annual 11:10 a.m. game between the Guardians and the Tigers. Tribe fan wore that Brooke Jacoby everywhere when he was 6. Yep, of course he did. He even slept with it on. Pitch to Carter. Got away from Dalton, and we're tied up. A pass ball, a curve ball. Dalton went down. The ball did not curve the way Dutch expected it to, and we're tied up. So Hernandez on second, first base open. And Carmen is pitching as well as I could sing the opera, Carmen. Base hit right field. Wilson will grab it. Hernandez around third and will hold. And Mr. Elbow himself, Kent Tekulve, coming in to pitch. So Don Carmen is down in the dugout all by himself because he sucked wind all by himself anymore. Tekulve is 39. Throws a Bugs Bunny fastball at 81 and is a ground ball plus pitcher. As a kid, Tim got his picture taken with Scotty Bales. Your brother got his taken with Corey Snyder. I'd be jealous too. You mean your brother didn't bail you out? Tekulve's 5th appearance on the year. He faced the Mets last night in an 8-6 win by New York. Went 1/3 of an inning and threw 6 pitches. 3 innings total for Kent, 2 hits, and 4 strikeouts. There you go. Yeah, the Red Sox used to play at 3 on Patriots Day, but they time it so that the leaders in the marathon are running past Fenway Park about the time the game gets out. Darryl Strawberry, by the way, 1 for 3 with a strikeout. High ground ball to Hayes. Hernandez goes home. Jelts for 1. They're not going to get Strawberry. Mets lead at 5-4. So John Mitchell is now in line to get the win. Ray Knight, 1 for 2 with a walk. Don Carmen in Cincinnati was referred to as the human batting team. Tell me how you really feel, Dave. Knight draws the walk. So Mitchell, who pitched like crap, is in line to get the win. Who can hit a righty? The answer is Wally Backman. Wally World, as a pinch hitter, is hitting 1,000 overall, 6 for 10 with a home run and 2 RBI. We'll see if we do another double switch here. So Strawberry on second, Knight on first, 5-4 Mets. Bottom 7. Pitch to Backman. There's a ground ball to Schmidt. Goes to Aguayo, and we will not do a double switch there. So Timmy can stay in the game. Mets, however, 2 runs, 3 hits, and no errors. And after 7 here in New York, Mets 5, Phillies 4. And with lefty, righty, we're going to go with Jesse Orozco. Who will bat in the 7 hole. Orozco making his second appearance in the replay. Remember, this is only, game 7 for the Mets? He's 29. I will not curse him. Throws a slider at 89 and a ground ball plus pitcher. That one appearance was last Sunday down at the Vet in that 16-15 pinball matchup. Jesse went 2 innings, 27 pitches, and a strikeout, along with a hit. So it'll be Vaughn Hayes, who's 0 for 3. Oh, Patrick LaSalle had season tickets to the Phillies in the 500 level in 86. And Hayes draws the walk. So here's Schmidt. 1 for 2. A home run. That came in the 4th. A solo shot and a walk. Struck him out. He chased a 1-2. 1 away for Glenn Wilson, who was 1 for 3. Double. Drove home his 4th run. You spent a lot of time booing Don Carmen and Bruce Ruffin. Are you telling me you're the reason why was an actual jail at the Vet? Pitch to Wilson, runner on first, ground ball, past Hernandez down the line and right. Strawberry's on the run. And Strawberry makes a bad play. Hayes, however, is going to hold at third. Wilson's in the second standing and is stunned when he looks over to see Vaughn Hayes at third. Miska Muska Mouseketeer. See what the Phillies do with Dalton. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Glenn Wilson, a former Tiger. Dalton stays in the game. This should top. No, it's a shallow fly ball to right. Strawberry's got it and a good arm. Hayes is going to try and score. Strawberry unleashes one. They got him. They get out of the inning. It's a double play. A shallow fly ball to Strawberry. Hayes should have scored on the double. He didn't. Instead, he went there and Strawberry threw a strike, and it was a raspberry beret. After 7.5, it's 5-4 Mets. And Strawberry, indeed, Todd, did get the Mets out of a jam. There's your Scully for the day. Oh, my word. So Santana, Foster, and Mitchell to face Tekulve here in the 8th. Raphael is 0 for 3. I love it when the computer makes mistakes. To be honest, because it gives the computer a human element. There's the jail in the Kingdom. I didn't know that. Todd writes them down as soon as he knows what I'm doing for a game. Why was he called 5 for 1 Hayes? Pitch to Santana. Ground ball to Jeltz. Good throw to first. 1 out. All day. Todd B. gets a $10 gift certificate to Carvel for a strawberry parfait. And to have his picture taken with Fudgy the Whale. George Foster came in the 5th after the rain delay. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. He was traded for 5 guys. I kind of figured that. Fly ball, left center, Reedus. Makes the catch, 2 out. It'll be Aguayo, Jeltz, and pitcher spot for the Phillies in the 9th. Mitchell, 2 for 4. 2 singles, an RBI, and a strikeout. Julio Franco. 5 for Cleveland for him. Hard ground ball to third. Schmidt over to Hayes for the out, and Kevin is retired. We go in the 9th. Phil is 1 to tie, 2 to go ahead. I could do 5 guys right about now. You want to Venmo me the money to do it, Dave? My wife would like that. Mortgage a small cat for that. They are good, though. Julio is still playing. The Manny Trio, George Vukovic, and who else? That's cool. So Aguayo, Jeltz, and Tekulve to face Orozco. Louis has struck out twice. He's 0 for 3. Hit him. So the tying run is on. Jesse not covered himself in clover. Jeltz 1 for 2. A walk and a strikeout. Remember when Subway had $5 footlongs? Neither do you, huh? Remember when Subway was actually better than Bland? Paul just tried to clean out the end of his driveway, but his snowblower couldn't make it past the first marker. Yeah, Julio played forever. Nope, just here, Dave. We tried the Twitch. There's 26 of you watching. The main difference was that the lag on Twitch was so short, and YouTube has changed that. This is pretty much instantaneous. Remember, he wasn't run by the guy in prison. He was their spokesman. Pitch to Jeltz. And Aguayo goes to second. Carter lost another one there. Pass balls at Shea Stadium. Who would have thought? Mr. Sub. That's Canadian, isn't it? Jeltz 1 for 2. The tying run on second in a 3-1 count. And Jeltz draws the FBO walk. So the Mets will trade 2 to Covey and hitting here. It will be Rick Shue, Ed Sullivan's favorite player. A really big shoe. Rick, as a pinch hitter, 333 and 2 ribbies. 1 for 5. So a 2-run single was Shue's lone hit of the replay so far. Phillies only have 5 hit. Oh, Chicagoland. Okay. Fly ball left field. Foster. 1 out. Aguayo will hold. And the double play gets the Mets out of it. For Gary Reedus, who was, look at this, a batting average of 160 and an on-base percentage of .532. Legend has it, Dave says, when Hayes was coming to Philly, they were touting his speed. Pete was not expecting Hayes to be Caucasian. Oh, Todd. Oh. That's how you got the George Hendrick Award. Shoelaced that ball. Aguayo on second, Jeltz on first, 1 out. Orozco deals. Well, Carter and Orozco will have a word. Reedus pops it up. Foster towards the line and left, and it will be last chance saloon time. Aguayo will hold. John here for the bitter end. 2 on, 2 out from Milt Thompson. Let's see what the computer does here. It's Felske's the manager for the Phillies, right? Thompson is 0 for 4 today. Orozco trying to finish. This has been a good one. Charlie Hayes around at third. Up the middle, a base hit. Mitchell will grab it. Aguayo scores. We're tied up. Barb is DMing me saying, that's why you leave your starters in, Ron. So Vaughn Hayes, who's 0 for 3 with a walk. Jeltz the go-ahead run on third, and Thompson with good speed on first. To Tuffle, and that will do. We go to the bottom of the 9th in a 5-5 tie. So run for the Phillies on a hit and no errors. Dave Rucker, because of course you want a pitcher with a 6 ERA in. Rucker is 28. Making his 4th appearance. He's a fly ball pitcher, which may be okay at Shea. Fastball at 90. Faced these Mets yesterday in an 8-6 loss. 1 inning, and it wasn't good. 17 pitches, 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned, and 2 strikeouts. Overall for Rucker, who only wants to be with you. 4 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, all earned, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Andy's in the parking lot of Jersey Mike's. Who are the Gardner special? I don't know. Barb is calling me all sorts of names. Dave Little needs to use a little boys' room. Vaughn used to upset Schmitty off because when he batted 30, he would steal with Schmitty up. We had breakfast at Mickey D's this morning. It was good. Tuffle will bat. 0 for 3 with a walk. Rucker deals. Popped up. Third base side. Schmidt. 1 out. For Keith Hernandez, who 1 for 3, been hit by a pitch and drove home a run. Barb's dog waiting to go out. 5 runs, 6 hits, an error for the Phils. They've left on 7. The Mets, 5 runs, 7 hits, and an error, and they've left on 8. Hernandez, high ground ball to Hayes, and we're 1 out away from freebie baseball. Gary Carter can send everybody home happy here in a moment. He is 1 for 3, a walk, and a strikeout. Big fan of hot honey. Hot honey at Mickey D's. I think we tried to get that for some McNuggets, and they didn't send it. Right now, DoorDash was $15 and get a free sandwich. So I got the meal and she got the free Egg McMuffin. Pitch to Carter. Gary swings. That's in the left field. That's well hit. Back goes Reedus, and that's off the wall. So Carter, the winning run on second and 2 out. Not in 86. Although, I got to say, I like the Ghost Runner, but nope, we play him out. Here's Strawberry. Darryl can win the ball game. He's 1 for 4, an RBI and a strikeout. Rucker deals. Strawberry up the middle. Jeltz has it, throws, and it's free baseball. We go to the 10th at Shea. No runs, a hit, and no errors. After 9, 5-5. So we're going to have a 1-inning pitcher here. Or do I let... I want to use Aguilera, but he's pitching in 2 days. So we'll let Orozco start the inning. Unless I make another switch, I might do that. I can't. Backman we already used. Schmidt is 1 for 3. He has homered. That came in the 4th. A walk and an RBI. God, I hope not. Chico thought he was safe. Smith strikes out. A 2-2 in there at the knees. 1 away for Glenn Wilson. 2 for 4. 2 doubles, an RBI, and a strikeout. There's a base hit in the left. Foster will cut it off. Now, I said, where's Knight? Well, Knight will lead off the inning. Oh. He'll spring up Dutch Dalton, who's 0 for 3 with a walk. Let's see what happens with him. Orozco deals. Struck him out. 2 away. Are they going to get away with this? Aguayo, 0 for 3. Been hit by a pitch and struck out twice. The 30-inning game was Pawtucket versus Richmond. The Red Sox versus the Braves. Go to first. Wilson is back. There's a pop-up. Left side. That's actually better hit than that. Foster running over and makes the catch. And that will do. The Phillies threaten but do not score. No runs, a hit, no errors. Bottom 10, 5-5. And the answer is, Curtis, I did get away with it. And I have a Cheshire grin on my face right now. Ray Knight 1 for 2. He's walked twice. Rucker starts the 10th. Knight, the winning run, is already on. Orozco ain't hitting. It will be... future Phillies star Lenny Dykstra, who does not pinch hit. 448 overall, 2 homers and 6 RBI. Yep, Wade Boggs. Brett Butler. So the winning run is on. Dalton and Rucker have a word. Dave deals. Popped up right side. Popped him up right side. Hayes into the stands. And a wall of people from Brooklyn make the catch. And it wasn't Von Hayes. Is that right? 1 a.m. curfew, which was the case in the American League, but the umpire didn't have the current rules, and they tried to call the commissioner, but he wouldn't wake up. I didn't know that part of the story. 2-2 to Dykstra. And Dykstra walks, and so the winning run is on second. Lenny. Willie Mays Hayes, there you go. Lenny pulls up the Adirondack chair. His run don't mean anything. Nobody out for Santana, who can't bunt. Oh, if there was a situation that would call for it. So he's got a swing. Rucker deals. Santana pops up. Jeltz, infield fly called. 1 out. And Steve Bedrosian coming in. Hits like Mays, runs like Hayes. Bedrock, the Phillies closer, making his 6th appearance. He's 1-0 with a 1.29 ERA. Bedrosian, I probably pitched in that game for Richmond. 28 years old, fastball at 92 and a standard pitcher. Pitched last night against the Mets. 1 inning, 22 pitches, a hit, a walk, and a strikeout overall. Yeah, Bedrock was pretty good. 7 innings. I'm surprised his nickname isn't up there. 7 hits. The 1 run, a homer against the Mets down in Philadelphia. A walk and 7 strikeouts. So the winning run is Knight. 1 out, bottom of the 10th. George Foster is 0 for 2 with a walk. He does have 3 home runs on the year. Put the mouse in the right spot. Foster swings, ground ball, base hit, left field. Knight is around, will hold at third. And so it's up to Kevin Mitchell to win the ball game. Everybody playing in, infield in, outfield in. Harry Callis and Richie Ashburn have the magnifying glasses out. Everybody's in. So Foster worked him for a 7-pitch at-bat before he ripped that one into left. So 5-5 the scores. Mitchell 2 for 5. He has singled twice, driven in a run, and struck out. Bedrosian wants one now more than anything. He walks home the winning run. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it. Where have you heard that one before? And as Bob Murphy would say, the Mets win the damn game. Here's a happy recap. And that is indeed a walk-off. So it took, wow. Yeah, the folks at Channel 4 in New York aren't very happy. A 4-hour game with a 1-hour rain delay. So Star Search with Ed McMahon will not be seen tonight. Mets go to 6-1. 6 runs. 9 hits. 1 error. They left on 9. Phillies dropped to 4-4. 5 runs, 7 hits, and an error, and they left on 8. And this game had everything but Yul Brynner. Jesse Orozco gets the win. His first, a blown save. His first 3 innings, 3 hits, an unearned run. He walked 2 and struck out 3. Gooden was cruising along before the rain delay. 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, all earned. The home runs, Reedus, a 2-run shot in the 3rd. Schmidt, the solo shot in the 4th. He walked 2 and struck out 4. John Mitchell was in line to get the win. 2 innings, a hit, a run, and he walked 2. For the Phillies, Shane Raleigh needed that great start. 4 2/3, 2 hits, a run, it was earned, a walk and a strikeout. Then Don Carmen blew chunks, an inning and 2/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, all earned. He walked 3 and struck out 2. To Colby, an inning and 2/3 with a walk. Rucker takes the loss. He goes to 0-1, an inning and a third, a hit, a run, it was earned. He walked 2. And Bedrosian allowed a hit and then walked home the winning run. Oh, my word. All right, let's do the rest of this Saturday in baseball. That was fantastic. Hey, I had fun on the James Cast. When is ST's magazine coming out? Because I've got an interview in there. That Mark is working on. All right, it's a full Saturday in baseball. By the way, if you're not, John Turnbull was on WLW last night. I haven't listened to it yet. I'm sure he did fantastic. Expos lose a game in the standings. The Cardinals beat them 3-2. Pat Perry gets the win 1-0. Jeff Reardon 1-2. Montreal makes 4 errors. Dave Van Horn might have said a few words that he shouldn't have said to himself. Andy Van Slyke 2 for 4, hits his second, drives in 2. Braves beat the Dodgers 5-4 in 10. Gene Garber 1-1. Diaz 0-1, and Harper. Oh, I should know who that is, and I don't. Hit his second, 2 for 4, and drives in 2. Kansas City shuts out Toronto 3-0. Bud Black goes to 1-2. Doyle Alexander falls to 1-2. Darryl Motley hits his fourth, 2 for 4 with a double. Reds beat the Astros 9-7. Tom Browning 2-0. Dave Madden, I believe, 0-1. Eric Davis hits his fourth. Played up here, by the way. 3 for 3 and 2 RBI. The Tigers beat the Indians 6-5. Willie Hernandez 1-1. Speaking of Scotty Bales, he's 0-1. Tim is crying again. Joe Carter hits his fourth, drives in 4, goes 3 for 5. Red Sox 5 home runs, 18 hits. Bill Buckner hits 2, 3 for 5 and 3 RBI. Oil Can Boyd beats the White Sox 11-3. Richard Dotson was not major motion, is 0-3. Cubs beat the Pirates 7-5 and 12. Dick Ruthven 1-0. Bob Walk 1-2. Poor old Johnny Ray 4 for 5, 2 homers, and drives in 3. Yankees beat the Brewers 5-1 in Milwaukee. Ron Guidry is 3-0. Teddy Higuera 0-3. Renicky 3 for 4, a triple and 3 RBI. Twins beat the Angels in Anaheim 5-2. Garth Butcher 1-2, or John Butcher 1-2. Slayton 0-1. Kirby Puckett hits his 50s, 2 for 4. By the way, Houston walked 11 in that Reds game. Texas beats Baltimore 10-3. Mickey Mailer, right? 1-0. Mike Boddicker 1-2. Scott Fletcher 2 for 5, a triple and a double. The Giants remain in first place in the West. They beat the Padres 4-3. In 13, Lasky gets the win. Lamar Hoyt takes the loss. Thompson 3 for 6, hits his second, drives in 2. Seattle beats Oakland. Only the third win for Seattle. Mark Langston gets the win in a 7-4 ball game. Jose Rio takes the loss. Alvin Davis 2 for 3, a home run and 3 RBI. John did well, and Lance McAllister is a big deal in Cincinnati. And Lance talked about Zappa. That's the thing. All right. And Mark is doing a great job of getting things together for the documentary. There's a very strong connection between Filsinger Legends of Wrestling, which Dave is the master of, and the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. That's cool. All right, so tomorrow we'll have the A's and the Angels for you. I'm Ron Juckett, as always. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow at noon for that. Have a good day, everybody.